Okay, so I'm going to do some mobility and just warm up the spine. So if you aim to do anything like Pilates exercises 3 times a week, you'll really start to notice the difference in how your suppleness, especially in the spine, starts to respond. So if you go to class once a week, that's absolutely fine, but what you probably need to do is make sure that you back up all of your efforts that you do in class with some homework at home. And again, you don't need much equipment. You might need a mat, and that's all you need. So I'm going to show you just a few exercises that I would do that just helps to keep my spine feeling supple. It helps to kind of use my centre, my powerhouse, and it just helps me think about what I'm doing in my class, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring myself into a set-up position on the mat where I'm lying in this position. And the first thing I'm going to do is let the chest open and the palms just softly come into the mat. The arm bones are nice and open. The feet are underneath the back of the knees. And I'm just going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. And the first thing I'm going to start with is a little tailbone lift. So I'm going to curl my tailbone up, and I'm just going to feel the weight now shift from the pelvis, the back of the pelvis, into the back of the waistline. And then as I just let my tailbone release down, feel the weight come back onto my pelvis. So the weight's sitting heavy in the pelvis. I'm just going to let my tailbone lift. Feel as if my pelvis is opening up to the mat. As my waistline now, the weight comes into my waistline, just the tailbone lifts, and I'm just feeling the very lowest part of my spine start to articulate. So that tailbone just lifts up, and I'm just going to keep my knees nice and quiet as I curl my tailbone off the mat, let it lift up, and then release down. Okay, and let's just do a couple more. Now this starts to get me feeling the work in the centre. So I'm going to feel my centre now connect in as my tailbone lifts and release it down. And then I'm just going to do one more, a tailbone lift and a release down. I'm going to bring my palms now just outside of the mat, just let my arms open up, and then just bring the feet and the knees together for some supine hip twists. So make sure my neck's nice and long at the back, and as the knees, just let the knees draw to the right as the left side of the hip lifts. And I'm just going to let that left hip side of the hip lift, and then as I take a deep breath in, bring the knees through the centre, exhale, inhale, knees come to the left. So just feeling the work move from one side of the pelvis to the other, feeling the weight transfer. So feel the front of the ribs, only take the knees over as far as you feel the ribs stay connected through the centre. And this just starts to give you that sense of connection coming from the centre, from the powerhouse. Okay, just let the chest open up, let the collarbones spin wide. So you've got this openness through the front of the body, but you've also got the pelvis staying open at the back. The ribs are connected as well into the front. Let's just do a couple more here, just allowing the space. So you're just keeping that tailbone, the whole of the spine, as long as you can, as the hips twist. Okay, we'll just do one more. So you want to aim really to do anywhere between 6 and 10 repetitions of any exercise. So that really helps to mobilise into the lower back as well. We're then going to bring the knees, the feet back into a parallel position with the arms now coming down to the side of the body, and we're going to do some hip hinging. So I'm going to get you to focus on the stability in the arms and the feet. Keep the nice neck length at the back, and then I want you to just press down into both arms and feet and just hinge at the back of the hips, the front of the hips open, coming into a nice pelvic bridge. So inhale, let's think about the chest plate opening, and then exhale, nice long spine to come back down. So you're always looking to create the space in the spine. So you're always looking to get that reach out of the front of the hips, get the tail, the sit bones reaching far forwards, and then reaching the waistline long to come down. Okay, let the collarbone stay open as well as you press into the arms. So we've got a little bit of activity as well in those arm extensors and shoulders. Good. Feeling the weight stay equal through both arms and both feet. And again, it's really important to keep those big toes connected down on the mat, feeling the inner thighs activate. So we've got a really nice level pelvis, and I want you to really reach the pelvis nice and long. Feel the work in the back of those legs as well. And we'll go for one more. So as I say, if you do anywhere between 6 and 10 of these, I'll keep the repetitions low. But if you want to add more in, that's entirely up to you. Feeling the work in the torso, reach that torso long, reach the fingertips long, and then come down in a nice long line. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to bring the knees into the chest, and we're going to feel the weight now move slightly further up the back, so the tailbone lifts slightly off the mat. The spine comes into more of an imprinted position, and we're going to do some curl-ups. So I want you to just keep the hands assisted behind the back of the thighs, roll the back of the head off the mat, then the neck lengthens at the back, and curl up, and just find that rib cage connection. The weight of the head sits just into the bottom rib, and take a couple of deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Keep that connection through the centre, and then bring the knees into the chest, and then just let the spine lengthen onto the mat. And we're going to repeat again. So we're going to use the legs and the arms as a little bit of added connection, feeling the front of the spine connect. And you can actually take the arms away here and keep the legs extended, and we can take this into the 100. The chest stays open, and we pulse 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3. And we keep that breath coming, using the arms to really pump. Good, keeping that breath coming. Good, keep the tailbone lifted and really scoop under the rib cage. The back of the neck's long and the eyes stay down. If you need to come back to assisted at all, this is the position, and just practice scooping under the rib cage and just using the back of the thighs as a bit of support. Okay, let's go into a couple more breaths here. Softening the front of the thighs, keeping the connections under the ribs, fingertips reaching forwards. Lower the legs if you've got the access in the lower back, keeping that spine lengthened. Good, now bring the hands in towards the back of the thighs, pull the knees into the chest. That should really start to warm you up. Let's come up to seated now, so assist yourself to come up to seated position, and then just come into a seated, and we'll do our C-shaped spine. So feet flat. I want you to keep your shoulders over your hips, but just let the tailbone curl under and the crown come forwards, feeling the length in the spine as you come into a C shape. And then come up, back onto a nice stacked spine. And again, so you can use your arms just to add a little bit of sort of assistance, or we can take the arms straight out in front of us. So what this does is it really helps to get that uniform curve through the spine. And come up. Good, shoulders stay connected into the back, so feel the shoulder blades stay in the back, and then we roll down. And I want you to really think about the spine getting longer from the crown of the head to the tailbone, but can you feel the bones of the pelvis widen as you take that C-shaped curve? And that really starts to help bring everything from the front into the back. So we're looking for that mobility, and the mobility comes from the real sort of uniform curve of the whole of the spine. Let's do 3 more. Good, really let the back of the pelvis widen and open up to the mat. Let the tailbone scoop under, and then just draw the navel back towards the back of the ribs, and let the shoulders soften. Let's have 2 more, really reaching along, the fingertips along, the shoulders connect, The crown of the head comes forwards. The eye gaze drops down into the belly as you come forwards. The chin and the throat stay open. And then come up. And then of course we can take this into the roll down. So you can stretch the legs long. So the legs are providing your base of support. And I want you to keep the big toes and the little toes on the same line. And we're going to slowly scoop under that rib cage. So same thing, soften through the thighs and roll down. Inhale, take the arms over. Okay, now I'm in my kitchen, so I've got limited space here as I take my arms over. But I want you to really think about the mobility in the spine as you come forwards. Now, a little spine stretch here, so we breathe in and press for 3. Lift under the rib cage for 2. Lift under the rib cage for 1. And then I want you to let your spine really open up to the mat as you come down. Can you spread your pelvis wide, reach out to the back of the hips, lengthen the waistline and come down, keeping the ribs connected into the stomach. As your arms come forward, the head lifts, sternum comes over the ribs and come forwards. Inhale for 3, inhale for 2, inhale for 1, pushing away the heels, the seat bones, lengthening the spine, and really think about scooping. Imagine this zip now, lifting you out of your hips as you roll down and come down, open up. Okay, now again, 6 to 8 of these is nice. Okay, so I'm going to do one more, but you carry on if you want to kind of get more repetitions in. Think about going for quality over quantity, so really peel the spine. Think about the spine being like a bicycle chain where you peel the parts of the spine off the mat and literally scoop under the ribs, peel one vertebra at a time, going all the way up and come over, and then let that spine stretch. Okay, then come up slowly. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the single leg stretch. So I'm going to get you to come, roll onto your back, bring the knees over the hips, and then just take the hands behind the back of the thighs again, scoop under the ribs, and take the right hand and the left hand onto the right shin. Lift the tail and just pull down into the arms, and then we're going to pull, switch. Pull, switch. The eyes look down at the belly, so your neck is long, crown of the head lifted, tailbone lifted. We're just going to do 4 of these. Okay, 3, the big toes meet on the midline. Good, and you're lifting, find the shoulders into the back, and then bring the knees in. And we go long, breathe in, scoop wide with the arms, exhale, pull in. Inhale, go long, go wide, that tailbone's lifted and the spine is lengthened onto the mat. Open up the chest, inhale, long, wide, exhale, reach forwards, eyes down, inhale, go long, go wide, exhale, reach forward. Let's have 2 more, breathe in, and open up the chest, exhale. Last one, in, go wide and exhale. Rest it down. Bring the hands behind the thighs, roll up, and we'll go into spine stretch. So the legs on the width of the mat, hands coming to the center, scoop under the rib cage, press the hands into the mat, exhale. Push the heels away, lift the ribs, and then walk the hands back. Stretch the spine up. So this is a really nice extension for the back, using the strong back muscles to lengthen. Nod the chin, head comes forwards, peel the spine forwards, pressing down into both hands, pushing the heels away. And inhale, lengthen up. Let's do 2 more now with the arms out in front. Okay, so you're going to use the arms, you're going to keep the arms reaching forwards as we exhale. Push the breath out and lift. Use that exhale to push and empty the lungs. Inhale, come up, shoulders into the back. Exhale, push. Inhale, come up. Relax the arms down. We're going to skip a few. I'm going to come onto our front and do swan. So this is a really nice exercise for opening up the chest and also opening up the hips. So bring the hands in front of the shoulders, elbows stay narrow, feet can come together or they